So this guy, he didn't just get shifted down or not even quite reflected. So there's probably some rotation going on here. And so the way to tell which way it got rotated is we're usually rotating around the origin. So I'll start from the origin and I'll grab a point on my rectangle. And then the point that corresponds to that point is this point down here. That's like the corner of that rectangle. And so now if I go from the origin to there, I can see that it rotated from there to there. So that looks like a 90-degree angle. And then this direction is, what is that? That's counterclockwise. So not the way the clock goes, but counterclockwise. So we can describe it as a 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation around the origin. Rotation about the origin. And any point we pick should work that way. So let's say I chose this point here. The corresponding point is that point there. If I go from the origin, grab that point, go from the origin to grab that point still got shoved 90 degrees counterclockwise. Same thing if I grab that point, his corresponding point is that point. Grab him from the origin, grab him from the oops, sorry, that's not the corresponding point. That point corresponds to that point. Grab him from the origin, grab him from the origin, 90 degrees counterclockwise. So there we go. And so now when you try to describe that with with the algebra, so they want you to write an algebraic rule. Let's see if we can discover it ourselves. So let's take this original point there, and it started off as -1, 2. And then it became this point over here, which is -2, -1. And if we take a different point, let's take this point here, we'll call that B. It's starting out at -5, 2, and it corresponded to this point here, and that point is -2, -5. So you notice you're not getting radically different numbers, right? If you start off at -5, 2, you're not going to get like 3, 7 or something crazy. It's just kind of the same numbers, but the signs have been swapped and the positions have been swapped. And so you can tell that the positions have been swapped, and before they swapped positions, they changed the sign of the y value. So as a general rule, the x, y, the positions got swapped, and the y value is now the opposite of what it once was. So this is your algebraic rule. And I think I gave you a sheet, and I'll send this to you too, where I've got all the rules for it. So if you want to go 90 degrees counterclockwise, I write it out in words, change the sign of y and swap the positions, and then you can tell, let's see. So, and I write an example out, like, so if you started off with 2, 5, you would change the sign of the y and make a -5. So 2, -5 would become -5, 2. And so x, y would become -y, x. So a little bit more confusing, I think, with the x and y, but the idea of the words kind of helps. So I'll send you a copy of that.